Hi, this is Coach Sarah. As you've probably seen if you follow me and Coach MK on Facebook, we're paying close attention to the way people are reacting to the movie Brittany Runs A Marathon. I myself saw the trailer and immediately knew that I personally did not want to see the movie because I got a strong whiff of marathon training equals weight loss equals yay, and I personally wanted nothing to do with it. But the positive attention the movie has gotten, among other things, a 90% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes, made me think maybe I was wrong to feel targeted by that message. Maybe I was missing something. Maybe I was being unfair. Well, once we asked for input on social media, Coach MK and I started getting all kinds of responses. From people who, like me, felt turned off by what they saw in the trailer but didn't want to say so publicly for fear of being a party pooper. One of those people is Amy, a runner who's been training with Coach MK for years, and she was kind enough to record a detailed breakdown of the Brittany Runs A Marathon trailer, frame by frame, identifying the things that immediately jumped out at her as problematic and fat-shaming. Amy gave us permission to share the audio from her screencasts as a bonus episode of the Fitness Protection Podcast. This is a preview of what you'll be hearing from Coach MK and me over the next 2 weeks. Both of us had a lot to say about the movie. 2 episodes worth of stuff to say. And as it turned out, so did our community. If you saw this movie and enjoyed it, please know that we're not criticizing you or saying that you're wrong. We want to validate the viewpoints of those who felt very differently about what they saw. The very discomfort that many of those people felt about voicing their concerns and their hurt openly and publicly. That told us a lot about how hard it is to be the person who feels erased by something that they know they're supposed to enjoy. So enjoy Amy's biting commentary, we sure did, and listen in later this week and next for a 2-part episode in our Brainfire of the Vanities series on how different types of privilege impact the way we consume pop culture and how harmful messages turned into jokes can be more destructive than we realize.
Hi, I'm Coach MK, founder of the Fitness Protection Program. I'm a run coach, not a life coach. We're never really talking about the running. Running is the tool. It's the conduit we use to examine the world we live in, as well as its impact on our own lives and the lives of the people around us. How we react to certain people and to certain stories tells us a lot about how we view ourselves. I'm committed to the thoughtful, intentional exploration of the importance of running so that no one discounts their own badassery, ever. Final note, this podcast is geared towards every runner who won't lose their home, livelihood, or health insurance if they show up to the corral with a hangover. Not that I'm encouraging you to do that, just saying. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the Fitness Protection Podcast.
Hey friends, Amy here. I am one of the runners that trains with MK. I've actually trained with MK for the last 5 years. And while I was teaching, I see a text come through from MK that it says, have you seen this movie? And I was like, no, I haven't. I'm like in the middle of teaching. And I like pull up the synopsis of the movie, and I get it. Like, oh my God, what kind of teacher has time for this? My classroom's on lock. My kids were reading. It was a 10-minute activity. I had already done my laps. I don't know. I'm making excuses for like me being a human and being able to check my phone while I'm teaching. I'm actually very responsible. I'm actually really great. So anyways, so I then, end of school day, we have back to school night, and I should be writing a syllabus right now for my 6th graders, but all I can think about, honestly, is what I just watched in this preview. And so I hopefully can get this to start. Yeah. Okay. So
what brings you in today?
I have a hard time focusing.
You get enough sleep every night?
Drinks on me for this side.
So like I'm starting to see this image of a person's life. Okay, this is very similar to my life. Okay, I'm going out, I'm having drinks, I'm the life of the party. Like, this is great. And like, you see this girl who, for Hollywood standards, we're going to say that she's overweight, right? And we're going to keep going.
How much is enough?
6 to 8 hours.
Oh, way more than that. I had a friend, she was prescribed Adderall, and now she's very alert.
You know, some people abuse Adderall. Let's get you healthy. I want you to try losing 55 pounds.
That's the weight of a Siberian Husky.
Okay, like what she's talking about right there, like, okay, this in real life, losing 55 pounds is super duper difficult. That is like, hey, this is a great reaction to have. But that's not my problem. Like when we keep watching, this is where I have my problem.
You want me to pull a medium-sized working dog off of my body? I'm starting to feel like everyone's lives are going places and mine's sort of stuck. Hold it, please. Try not to leave all your stuff in the hallway. That'd be the third time this month. Change is possible. If I keep interviewing, no one thinks that.
Right. And the way that this has been snipped out and the way that this is like starting to, is like, oh my gosh, she's so unhappy. And if she's so unhappy, like her weight has to do with it and her self-confidence and all of these things that I get them. Okay. As of October of last year was 270 pounds. Right now, we're going to lie and say 235. When I got on the scale this morning, it was 240, right? But I like that 235 number that I saw after I had run a 5K and like gone and worked out. So I'm sticking with the 235 number because it makes me feel better. So like this girl is like speaking to me right now that like, oh my gosh, like my life is so difficult and it's so rough and nothing makes sense in my life right now when I see this. So like, this is me. I want to like buy in to everything that I've seen and I can't see in the last 50 seconds of a trailer.
I'm the right fit. I would love you to walk me through CPR for this doll. Oh, I'm sorry, this child is dead. I need to get a teeny bit healthier.
We have rates as low as $129 a month.
You do know that people can run outside. That is zero.
She's making these jokes and these asides that we all make, right? Like Camp Gladiator is something that like I have spent my money on in the past. I'm actually spending like $10 right now doing 4 weeks of a Camp Gladiator camp, right? But like Camp Gladiator is like $189 a month for unlimited camps, whatever. Like, again, they're playing into things that we already feel, but there's this message behind it that like, you are not enough if you are X, Y, and Z. And right now she's not enough because she's the life of the party. A doctor has told her that she's unhealthy and she can't get a job and no one's opening subway doors for her. And all of these things that are just telling her that she's not enough. And if she would just start running, she'd be enough.
I ran today.
How the hell you do that? Somebody chasing you or something?
Oh my God, don't even get me started on that. Okay, I am a single woman. And whenever I tell a guy that I'm a runner and he says to me, oh, I only run if something's changing him, or even if somebody that I've like just met and they say those things, oh, my knees, I'm like, I can't. Literally, I can't. Stop with the like, I only run if things chase me. Okay. There are some people that get great joy out of it. And you are exhibiting a microaggression whenever you're like, oh, I only like run when things chase after me. That is like one of my biggest pet peeves. Where does it come from? Where is the root of that hurt? I'm not quite sure, but when I saw that, I was like, okay, I really don't like this movie already.
You can do it.
Yeah, I know. I'm doing it.
Sorry, I'm talking to myself.
My sister, she owns a company, house and pet sitting. All right, I'll stay.
Bad taste in music.
Up here comes the love interest. This is going to be the guy that like loved her from the beginning. And if she just loved herself, then she would have realized he loved. Listen, this is not real life. This is not real life. Like, yes, you need to accept yourself and you need to be okay with who you are. But let me tell you, the premise of this movie is that if you change things about yourself, then you will love yourself. Well, guess what? At some point, she's going to realize that, oh, it was in me after all. But she still has to go through this progression in order to love herself. So is it really the message of like, you have to accept your greatness and know your greatness? Or is it legit like lose a couple pounds and then you're going to be okay and you're going to learn to love yourself?
You the new girl? I'm the nighttime guy, Jaren.
I'm done with the drinking, I'm done with the smoking. 50,000 people from around the world are racing today. I want to run the New York City Marathon. I think that is such a good idea.
That's a bad omen.
Okay, let's make a joke as we are running with a ambulance, right? Let's play on these like funny little, they're self-deprecating. They are legit self-deprecating jokes at this time. And as someone who like has gone through this multiple times where I've weighed a lot, then I've started running, I've picked it up, I've, lost the weight, then it's back. I'm now in the process of losing again. But we're going to make these self-deprecating comments to make it okay and like maybe make ourselves feel better when we're running as slow as slow. Hold it.
This?
Oh, she runs now, so people will start like holding the subway doors for him. God, if only that were true. If only that were true. Like, oh my God, Hollywood, how wonderful would this be?
Thank you so much.
I'm really good at making profiles. God.
I'm a runner, so I can start dating because only active people date and only skinny people date. And the only way that like you can date is if you love yourself. And the only way that you're going to love yourself is if you're going to be skinny. Literally, these are my thoughts as I am watching this.
It's not that bad.
I'm just going to give you mine, okay?
Do you know how to spell herpes?
Reflection on that. If we are talking about herpes and it ends up that she has herpes, why? Why are we making herpes a big deal? 50% of the population has it. It is a virus. It is not a virus that we have a cure for. It is no different than the common flu. Okay, it is. But it is a different strain. But really, like, stop making herpes a big deal. There are plenty of people who have herpes and they go on to have families and be married and all of these things. But there are people who have herpes and they're vilified because of deprecating jokes like this. Oh my God, when I saw that this was a true story, I was like, okay. A true story. So like anecdotal evidence, this is totally going to be wonderful and like get all of the crowds going.
My whole life, the world told me I was lazy because the way I looked. I was trying to turn my life around.
Everything's going to be fine.
People held doors for me.
I'll hold doors for you.
This is my last word.
You changed
The realization that he loved her after all.
your life was never about your weight.
Hold it, please.
It was about you taking responsibility for yourself.
Are you suggesting that a person who is overweight does not take responsibility for themselves? I'm totally maybe just, projecting right now.
We're going backwards.
Okay, so then that last piece. I talk about anecdotal evidence and how I'm a science teacher for those of you that don't know me. I talk about anecdotal evidence a lot and how like stories about what happened to a friend of a friend of a friend or something that a doctor told you is now all of a sudden truth. But I'm gonna operate from some anecdotal and some projection, because when I see this, something like this, it is a gag me with a spoon type of reaction. So like I mentioned earlier, I started doing Camp Gladiator. They had a deal of 4 weeks for $10. All right, fine. I like Camp Gladiator. A girlfriend wanted to do it. She wanted an accountability buddy. Fine, let me do it. First day, the trainer takes me aside. Granted, like this trainer doesn't know me from Adam. And, at 240 pounds, 235, I'm still a big girl. I am what I am. And so I get pulled aside. Oh, you're a newbie. So this is endurance week, blah, 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 blah. You don't have to do the full reps, just take it at your, okay. Part of that is liability. And I can put that liability part aside. But hey, how about you talk to me? How about you ask me like where I am, physically? Because What you don't know is that I strength train right now. I can run, but it hurts. And I know that it hurts so that I don't do it as often as I should. And I just practice strength training because that's what my body needs right now. But okay, cool. You know what? You see me. Then today, during this morning's workout, I got up at 4 a.m. I was out the door by 5 to work out at 5:15 with a friend of mine who really wants to do Camp Gladiator. And, there's at one point where we have to do laps. Listen, I know what I'm capable of running. I've been training with MK for the last 5 years. I know where I'm at. But homegirl comes up to me, trainer, still makes me feel singled out of hey, if you need to take it slower on the runs, whatever, I get what I look like. I get that oftentimes that there are people who are the same size of me and they feel like this young woman who their life isn't what it's supposed to be. And if they would just lose weight, everything will get solved. I get that. There are definitely people like that. And there are parts of me that there's parts of me that feel that and want that. But also that's not me. And that's anecdotal evidence that if you think about all the people that you have seen who are overweight, who are starting gym classes and starting running and all of these, and just assuming that it has something to do with them wanting to lose weight in order for them to feel better about themselves. That's just painful and that sucks. And to further this Camp Gladiator thing, then I get a text message around 10 a.m. where it was hey, are you okay? I just want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can for you. And and it's just placating on, I don't feel like I belong. I don't feel like I belong because you automatically see someone like me, someone who is larger, but I have more endurance than most people. And I haven't scripted my response to the text message that I received from the trainer, but I want to be in 8 weeks, I'm going to Athens and I have a girlfriend running a marathon and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be running part of it with her. I'm pretty sure that on Saturday, I'm going to be running a 10K and I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to PR. It's not going to be great. It's not going to be beautiful, but you know what? I'm going to fucking do it because that's who I am and that's who I've always been. But thanks for making me feel like shit. And really, these are my feelings. These are my assumptions of where this trainer is coming at because she sees a woman who is overweight. But at no point did I put up a hand and be stop during my workout because I know my body, because I'm an athlete. And I feel that when you circle around me to make sure that I am okay, you're letting me know that I don't know my body, but I do. And in movies like this and the cinema is just, it's anecdotal, it's fairy tale, it's what a lot of people go through, but it's not everybody's story. And we need to be careful when we see things like that and assume that everyone has the same story, because this isn't my story. This was my story 9 years ago. 10 years ago, I was no longer a nun. I'd left the convent. I had a meeting at 4:30 on a Tuesday in the evening, and by 6:30 a.m. the next day, I was no longer a sister. I spent a year, maybe more, in bed, depressed. I moved to Colorado 9 years ago. I met a man. I fell in love. He was not in love with me. He was never in love with me, but I was in love. And so I told myself, Amy, if you just get thinner, because at that point I was 300 pounds, if you just get thinner, Matt will like you. So yeah, when I began running, it was this weight loss thing. But then it turned into so much more because it wasn't, and it's this story. It's this story that this girl is portraying. And that was Amy 9 years ago. Amy 9 years ago, when she lost 115 pounds and got down to 185 pounds, who was working out 6 days a week, who was running 5 days a week, who was under such calorie restriction that she was starving all the time, she was no more happier than 300-pound Amy, who was not loved by Matt. And so, you know what? I gained almost all of that weight back. And in October, November, when I was 270 pounds, I was like, listen, the only thing I want to do is run. I don't want to run because I want to be skinny. I don't want to run because of anything other than I like running. Now, don't get me wrong. I actually hate running, but I just love the freedom I have. I love being deep in my thoughts. I love using that time to understand who I am and why I'm so angry, or why I'm so sad, or why I'm so happy, or finding that joy and that peace in my life that I was searching for 10 years ago when I left the convent. Running was something for me that I never really realized was so important. Fun fact, when I was in the convent, they wouldn't let me run. This was before I was the avid runner who ran half marathons and did all of these running races. But running has always meant something to me, and I never realized it until I stopped doing it after I had started doing it. And running is so special, and it's so wonderful to me, and it has absolutely nothing to do with weight loss. Now, don't get me wrong. I look fucking great dropping 40 pounds already. 40, 30. I can't do math. I'm a science teacher. That's a joke. Self-deprecating joke that we should not be actually joking about. 30 pounds. 30 pounds. I look great. I look wonderful. The difference is, and I know I said I like the 235 number better, but in reality, if I plateau at 235, then I plateau at 235. A friend asked me what my goal was. And I'm like, I just want to be happy. That's it. And it has nothing to do with weight. And running makes me happy. And please don't get into running just because you think it's going to turn you out better and happier. See you guys.